How to prepare a girl child for her first menstruation. A lot of women were either scared or confused when they saw their first period. Others who already know what was happening to them went through this process without a lot of guidance. If you are a parent or a caregiver to a girl child, this video is definitely for you. And if you intend to have a girl child later in the future, this video is also for you. I am going to be talking about how to prepare a girl child for her first menstruation in a simple, loving, and age-appropriate way. Many parents wait till the girl child starts seeing blood before they talk about menstruation, but by then the child may already be scared or confused. Preparing her early helps her understand that her body is normal and healthy, and it helps to eliminate that initial fear and confusion that comes with seeing blood. A child already knows that blood means danger. A child who already knows that whenever you see a child who already knows that blood is seen only when you get hot will not be able to understand that menstruation is normal and healthy when they see their first period without guidance or explanation. And that is why it is the duty of parents to be the ones to teach these children that this is a very healthy way of growing up. Another thing that makes parents delay in having this discussion with their daughters is feeling shy or awkward. I understand that most of us adults, we went through our first experience without much guidance. A lot of girl children, a lot of girl children at those days were not taught. We just grew up to see, we just understood what was happening as we grew. And this is why I think it is dangerous for any parent not to educate their girl child for this particular experience. You need to understand that you are your child's best teacher in topics like this, as it helps to build connection between you and your child. It helps your child know that communication door is always open. Your child can always come to you to ask any question as regards to changes that is happening in their body. When you don't have this discussion with your child, you are as well saying that this discussion doesn't exist. What you have done is that you have closed the door to this discussion. You have closed the door to the discussion of anything that is happening in her body. I hope you understand. When to start talking about this, you should start talking to your daughter about menstruation between the ages of 8 and 10. However, you know your child. Nobody can understand your child more than you. If you once you immediately you start noticing that your child is beginning to have to change, immediately you see that your child's body is beginning to change even before they are 8 years old, it is time to start talking to them about this. And you don't need to wait till that big moment where you sit your child down to talk about these things. A simple question: if you are in the same house with your child might have come across sanitary products around the house, and she might bring a pad and ask you, what is this? And that is the opportunity for you to introduce the topic. You don't need to wait for one big questions that your child asks you can bring up these topics. I remember a woman said to me that her mother told her about menstruation for the first time when she was already 2 years in her period. What this means that this child has seen her period for 2 whole years before her mother told her or opened up to her about menstruation. this means that this whole 2 years, this child has been living in fear and confusion without being able to open up to her mother. And that is what I said previously. When you don't have this discussion with your child, what you have done is that you have closed the door of this discussion. It means that you are telling this child that this discussion, the door, you have closed the door of this discussion. You didn't leave it open. But once you have this discussion with your child knows that this is normal, and the child can knows that the door to this discussion is open, and therefore the child can always come to you to ask questions. So this so that don't be that kind of mother who had never introduced her child to it. And when you don't have this discussion with your child, it means that your child is going to get her information mainly from media, from friends, from peers, from other adults. And you know what this can do? This means that your child is exposed to any kind and any form of information the society gives her, which I know you don't want to happen. When you're having this discussion with your child, explain what menstruation is all about. For a child, you can explain it like this. As you grow, your body changes. So once a month, a small quantity of blood will come out from your vagina for specific number of days. The average days is between 3 to 7 days. I believe that at that age, your child already knows the part of her body that is called vagina. And if she doesn't know, do not shame her for it. If you had taught her, she would know. So if she doesn't know, then you have to go further to explain to her the part of her body that is called vagina. And let her understand that as her body changes, they will get to a point when her body will start discharging blood from her vagina, and explain to her that it is very normal and healthy. In fact, let her know that when she doesn't see it, it means that something is wrong, and medical intervention will be, so that when she sees it, explain it in such a way that it's something that when she sees, she will be happy. She will know that now I am a woman. Explain to her, fun let it be fun, that is something that she's looking forward to, and not something that she's scared or feels dirty about. Emphasize that it is normal, healthy, and means her body is growing well. A lot of children don't like seeing blood. Even adults, a lot of children don't like seeing blood. So you have to find a way to let her understand that it is normal, it is healthy. It means that her body is growing well. That right now, it means that you are no longer a child. It means that now you are an adolescent. You are in between a child and an adult. So now you are no longer a child per se, but you are now walking towards adulthood. So explain it in a way that the child will be so eager and will look forward to seeing her first period. In that way, the child is ready. In that way, the child is emotionally and psychologically ready for her first period. Tell her what to expect. Explain to her that when her first period starts, she may see blood on her underwears. It may last for about 3 to 7 days. Tell her she might feel some stomach pain, cramps, and mood changes. Explain to her what mood change is. She needs to understand that part where her mood can change. You can explain it like this. Tell her that when she's seeing her period, that she might not be as lively as she would want to, because a lot of girl children who are experiencing this for the first time might notice that they are feeling that sucking themselves in. Maybe those kind of children that like to play a lot, they are lively, they are extroverts, and then they now notice that all of a sudden they don't want to be that again. They don't want to play. They don't want, in fact, anybody that acts like them is, they see it as being strange. They explain to them exactly what this mood changes is, so that when they're going through it, they will be like, they will fully understand what's going on, and they will know that they are fine, they are okay. It's just a phase that would pass. I think that when this is explained to a girl child, it helps her to fully understand what's going on with her, so that when she's going through it, she's not panicking or thinking that something is wrong with her. It is important that you reassure her that nothing is wrong with her. Do this with your word. Answer every question that she's going to bring in, because the truth is she's going to bring in a lot of questions, because a critically thinking child is going to have a lot of questions like, but where is the blood coming from? I think that when you have the first discussion with your child is to prepare her, is to let her know that this is possible, this is something that will happen, just to prepare her, to make her aware. Then when she's now when she's now experiencing it, she's going to come up with a lot of questions. I mean, questions like, where is the blood coming from? And when she now, after asking this question, this is when now you now go deep into the biology part of why women see their period. But for this first discussion, let her know that you should what you should focus on is helping her understand that it is a normal, healthy, and it is a normal, healthy experience, which means that her body is growing well. Ask the Holy Spirit to help you answer questions that might throw you off balance, because we understanding that you are still dealing with a child. It's very important to understand that you are still dealing with a child, and what that means is that you don't want to bombard the child with a lot of information that she will not be able to process. So you need to, whatever you are explaining to this child needs to be age appropriate. It should be something, information that she can digest. So I think that it is very important that you ask the Holy Spirit to give you words. Remember when you were a child, and think of those questions that you wish you asked someone, or you wish someone gave you answers to. Remember those questions and then find answers to them and explain them to your child. And reassure your child that she can always come back to ask you questions as regards to what she wants or what is bothering her. It is always better that you introduce this topic to your child, so that they will always come back to you to ask questions. When they ask you questions, you will be able to ascertain what is going on in their head. It is better that you, as their parent, know what is happening, know what exactly they are thinking, and you won't know if they don't open up to you and ask you questions. You see why it is very important that you are the first person to introduce this topic to your child. Of course, teachers will teach in schools, they're going to have these discussions with your friends and peers, but it is important that you are the one that informs her first, so that when they're having this discussion outside the home, the communication door you have left open at home will enable her to bring in those questions, and by doing that, you would also know what is happening and what the kind of information she's feeding herself outside the home. When you have done this, now it's time to introduce menstrual products. Show her sanitary pads and explain to her vividly how it is used. Tell her how often it is required to change it. It's usually between 6 to 4 hours. 4 to 6 hours. It's usually between 4 to 6 hours. Teach her how to how to wrap and dispose used parts properly. Teach her about personal hygiene like bathing and washing hands regularly. Reassure her that Reassure her to always come back and ask you any question whenever she encounters any difficulty. Please don't be that parent that when she comes around to ask you questions about things that you have taught her before, that you think that she should know, and she's coming back to ask you questions. Please don't be that parent that will shame her for that. I saw a video on social media about a woman who was doing that. That was so disgusting. And in that video, it was about an 8-year-old girl who has just started seeing her period for the second time, and she came to her mom. She came to her mom to ask her mom how she was supposed to place the pad on her underwears, and the mother was mm, shaming her and bringing it to social media. I do not understand that part. Why she felt the need to video herself bashing her child and posting it on social media. Please don't be that mother. What you have if you be that mother, what you have done is that you have permanently closed that communication door. Your child will never bring any difficulty to you. So when she brings that difficulty, find out why she was not able to understand it when you taught it the first time, and then teach it again. Teach it over and over again. It's okay if she comes asking you. Remember, if your child is that child that started her period early, she's going to have questions. I mean, we're talking about children here. She's going to have questions. Continue, reassure her that whenever she experiences difficulty, she can always come back again to ask you questions. Don't be too harsh. Remember, she's still a child. Teach her to always carry an extra pad in her bag, inside a discreet part of her bag. I mean, it doesn't mean she doesn't need to. It doesn't need to be in a in a side of her bag where it can easily fall off, so that she can be comfortable. Prepare her for schools and public places. Let her know that she can see her period anywhere, and it can start anywhere. She can have her first experience anywhere. Let her understand, and let her understand that her first period can start anywhere, in school, in church, in the market, anywhere at all. It can also start at home or outside the home. I remember when I started seeing my period, and I would go to school and notice that the thing is still flowing, and I'll be wondering, why is my body not respecting me? Why does this thing not know that I am in school? Does it not know that I'm in school? In my head, I was thinking that my body is going to respect me, sort of, that it will only flow when I'm at home, and when I'm in school or outside the home, it's going to respect me and stop and wait for me to be home before it starts. Unfortunately, that was not the case, and I remember for a very long time I kept thinking, I was confused. I was wondering why my body was not respecting me. I kid you not. I was wondering, you won't know what's going on in the head of your child if they are not coming to ask you questions. And because I didn't ask anybody, in my head I was wondering, what is wrong with me? Why is my body not respecting me? Why does this my body not know that I am not at home, that it should respect itself and stop flowing? And this confusion kept on having a space in my head, until one day I was in the class, and one of my classmates was speaking with an elder friend who happens to be maybe like a year or 2 years older than us. And that means that, in my class, we are class of girls in the same age bracket, and so that means that most of us we are seeing our periods for the first time. So I remember this girl, my classmate, she was talking to her friend that was a bit older than us, and she was like, I don't know, do you know that I'm on my period and this thing is flowing right now when I'm in school? Why is my body not respecting me? And I remember that when I heard her say that, I stopped, because it was as if this girl was saying the same exact thing that has been bothering me for days. And when she said it, her friend laughed at her. Her friend laughed at her and told her that no, it doesn't happen like that. And her friend went on to like tell her that no, it doesn't happen like that. That once it starts, it has started until it stops. And The girl might think that she was talking to her friend, but she didn't know. What she didn't know was that she was also informing me, because that was a question that has been living rent free on my head. You see, why it's good to open that discussion so that your children can come, because they will have silly questions. They are going to have silly questions. They are going to have important questions that maybe you have missed out. They are going to have funny ones, and you must not shame them for anyone, because if you shame them for anyone, they will not be able to come back again to ask you, even when they now have a very important question. So whether the question is silly, funny, important, welcome all of them and answer them. Treat all of them as if they are important. Having said that, let's move over to talking, helping her, teach her how to pack her bag. How to pack her bag. As your child is growing and you notice that she has not started seeing it, but she needs to, you have to bear in mind that it might start when you are not there to guide her. So you have to equip her for that. Help her to pack that bag. Have a small bag where there is pad, where there is a pad, and underwear, hand sanitizer, and what other things that you think is important for her first period. Help her to pack it in a bag and teach her how to pack these things. And very important, teach her how to make use of them. I think that for a first timer, you can always call her once in a while to to practice in front of you how to place a pad on a pant, on an underwear, so that you'll be sure that she knows how to use it. And if she's still having difficulties, you need to get her ready. I personally think that you can have an already placed pad on an underwear and then package it so well that it will not be exposed to any kind of microorganisms that might lead to infections. You understand? So it has to be very hygiene. You have to teach your child that now is no longer time to be playing with hygiene. This bag should include underwears, few pads, hand sanitizer, and any other geary stuff like I just said that you want to add. Please ensure that she learns and understands how to insert a pad on an underwear, so her first experience will not be ruined as a result of her inability to do this properly. If possible, let her have an already inserted pad in her first period pack, in her first period kit. I think that this is very important and I cannot even overemphasize this. I think that this will also help her. You can imagine how a girl that is now well prepared for her first period and she sees her first period, she now messes it up by maybe getting stained and being laughed at by some people that are not well trained. You understand? So I think it's very important that your child understands how to use pad even before they started saying it. Then emotional and mental support. This is very important. Tell your daughter that period are nothing to be ashamed of. Let her understand that it is not something to be ashamed of, and that is why I emphasized so much on having a well prepared pad, making her understand so that you don't train your child that this is not something to be ashamed of, and then she makes mistake. It is very important that you create an environment where your daughter feels safe and comfortable to ask questions regarding her first period or regarding her body anytime, any day. Don't treat the topic like it's an awkward topic. Don't treat it as if it's an awkward topic, because if you do, she's going to feel it, and you are going to permanently close the door of that communication, because if you feel awkward, shy, or ashamed to talk about this topic anytime, she's going to sense it and she's going to feel the same. And what you have done to her is that you have told her that this discussion is not something that I feel comfortable talking about, and she too will now feel like this topic is not a topic that makes you feel comfortable, and therefore she will avoid topics like that. So even when you now try to bring it up, she too will now start feeling uncomfortable to talk about it. So you have to be very careful not to feel awkward, shy, or any way regarding topics that are very important like this one. Avoid avoid making it feel awkward. If you are feeling shy or uncomfortable regarding this topic, you should tell yourself the truth and think back. You will find out that it is because of how the adults in your life when you were a child treated the topic. And therefore, I believe that no parent, if you are watching this video now, I believe that you don't want your child to feel awkward or ashamed to talk about this topic. And so the best way to avoid it is for you to be comfortable and to be comfortable with the topic. When you are comfortable and don't treat this topic as a topic that is awkward, your child is now going to reflect that back to you and not feel uncomfortable or awkward while talking about this topic. Because the truth is, she is only going to feel comfort. She's only going to feel awkward talking to you about this topic when she goes to school or meets her friend outside the house. Yeah, she's going to feel very comfortable to talk about it. So the best thing that you can do is not to feel awkward when talking about this. Things you should not do to your girl child. Do not scare her with negative stories. Don't do that, please. Don't do that. Don't do that. Remember, we are trying to raise confident girls. So don't scare her with negative stories. Don't scare her. That is why it's important that you do your part by training her, teaching her everything she needs to know, anything that she needs to know, and allow her to make mistakes. When she makes mistake and come back, tell her it's okay to make mistake. Don't make it a big deal. It's okay to make mistakes. We all make mistake and we learn. Do you understand? So don't go ahead. Don't share negative stories. You can share the funny ones, but please don't make it uncomfortable for her. Do not shame her or make her feel dirty. I mean, in this century, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that, please. I'm begging you. Do not act angry or surprised when she tells you her period have started. Especially these days that children now we now have early groomers. Please understand that once it's normal, it's okay. It's not something to be worried about. Applaud her. Let her feel comfortable with it. Do not act angry or surprised when she tells you her period have started. Do not shame your child or act angry or surprised when she tells you that her period have started. Welcome it. Let it be a welcomed let it be a welcomed experience so that your child will feel very comfortable in her body. When a girl is prepared, her first period becomes a moment of confidence, not fear. Do you understand? So when you prepare your child, her first period, instead of being a period where she's experiencing fear, confusion, she's stressed, it will be a period of confidence and not fear because she understands what is happening to her and she knows what to do and she also knows who to talk to. As a parent, our job is to guide our daughters with love, patience, and understanding. That is our job. Do not leave this job for the teachers. Yes, teachers will do their part, but do your part. Remember that you are your child's best teacher in topics like this. If this video has helped you in any way, please like this video and share with other moms, other parents, other people who it might also help. Do you understand? And if you have any addition to this video, I mean, we are all parents, we are learning, we have not done this before, we are learning. So please share it down there in the comment section. Do not hold on, do not gatekeep in this topic, please. Share it in the comment section. I really like to read your comments and also learn from you. Remember, your guidance today will shape your daughter's confidence tomorrow. It's very important. All right. See you. Bye.